Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin. Welcome to Pre-Market Info.
Got some after hours movers in Amazon and Starbucks. Got some pre market movers here this morning. But let's start with the overall market here, Joe. We are trading down 4 ticks.
Yeah, couldn't hold the close. 82.50 high, dropped to 75 and a quarter. I have absolutely no number at that level, so that cannot hold up as the high of the day. I or low of the day, excuse me. I do like Wednesdays and Thursdays low, 1570 and 1570, 75. That's a double bottom. Keep an eye on that. We take that out. We may revisit here the 1560 level. But that's great support. It's been holding up, so keep an eye on that.
Obviously, going to have some big economic numbers coming out in a few minutes, so we'll get to those when they do break. Let's start with Amazon here. It was a wild ride for Amazon last night. They actually beat 18 cents versus 9 cents. Their outlook kind of sketchy, though. It's not as nice as everybody would see, and obviously got that initial pop. How high did it get there on Amazon, Joel, after hours?
290.88.
290.88, and then spiked down too, all at the same time. News will go all over the place there. What was the low there?
258.
258. So we've had a wild range here for Amazon. Wow, that is a that is a wild range. It's trading 268 right now, down 670. So, and over the last 7 or 8 hours, from the after hours to the
Exactly.
pre-market, lots of consolidation here, Joel.
Yeah, that's a excellent point here, considering you had a $50 move, $40 move. You've been in a trading range here since, like you said, since midnight or 8 o'clock when they traded, close things up. 65.60 has been the low of that range, and running into trouble just under the 270 level. So I keep an eye on those. Looking at the daily here in the chart, of course, this was the all-time high, 277.40. That's $10 away. I imagine there'll be some offers there. Coming back on the downside, holy smokes! I mean, you had 264.50. That's your 3-day low, and that kind of coincides with the consolidation area we have now.
Just to correct you, there was some highs back in January up in the 280s, so not quite an all-time high, but that's the high of the recent move there in the 270s. There you go. Joel
You
found
got
them
me.
there. I gotcha. I gotcha on that one. Lots of other news here too. Chevron, we are still waiting for. When they break, we will break with the earnings with you on that one as well. But let's go to J.C. Penney, because J.C. Penney getting a pop here. George Soros disclosing a 7.9% stake in the company. Akron must be smiling there this morning with that disclosure, because J.C. Penney is popping here. It's up a buck 10, 16.35. Heavy volume last night on the Soros disclosure. Obviously, news algo overshot a bit, which Joel's pointing out. And heavy volume here this morning, 262,000 shares.
1691, just short of that $17 level. So that's going to be resistance. Since you've hit that high, you traded down to 1605, getting a lot of consolidation. I was discussing this chart with the guys on the desk here, and boy, look at that. It would have been nice to play going through 1580, on the fly. But now that area is going to act as support,
Yep.
and I think you got some, this kind of formation here. I think shorts are going to be squirming a little bit with Mr. Soros getting involved, and I think this $16 level, if you're trying to pick it up on the cheap, $16 to 15.80. I think that's going to be excellent support. On the upside, 16.91 coincides a little bit lower than the 17.17 high, but hey, if Microsoft can run like
Yeah,
$3
I
in
know.
2 days,
I know.
it's ridiculous.
I'll tell you, this J.C. Penney story is a bit different than last time. Obviously, off of it, when the last time it had major news when they fired Johnson and rehired their old CEO, the stock spiked up and then spiked way down. It's a bit different this time. I think, when you get somebody like Soros coming in, making an investment in the company, it does bring in confidence. It will make the shorts nervous. I think on pullbacks, I think you're exactly right. right, we get down to the 16 handle, I think you find buyers, and I would not be surprised if JCPenney gets some follow through here over the course of the next few days, because there's probably some nervous shorts sitting in JCPenney. Yeah, and to put it in perspective, where is the stock? 85 bucks back in 2007.
I see 87.18.
Wow.
I'm a little nervous to go back to see if it got any higher.
I don't know. I think that's getting there, Joel. I think you're getting there with the 87.17. And like I said, fundamentally speaking, I don't love this company. I go in those stores, they seem like a ghost town. But technically speaking, right now we're breaking out with Soros coming in. I think you're going to have some short scrambling here. Short term, I like the trade to the upside. Long term, I still hate the company. We've got Pfizer in the news last night, getting a negative opinion on their arthritis drug. This is coming out of Europe. I don't know how you spell these. Xeljanz is how you spell it. We'll call it Xeljanz, which is their arthritis drug. Negative opinion coming out of Europe. Stock is trading down here in the pre-market pretty significantly. Show that after hours chart last night. You can see when this news broke, the stock was closed obviously 30.26. It's trading down now at 29.40. Obviously got a buck knocked off of it on this news. Interesting enough, Lee Rank comes out this morning and says the stock should not drop more than 50 cents on this news. So I don't know if they're long and they're upset about that or whatever. But it's rare you see an analyst come out and say, hey, what's going on here? We don't want the stock to go down this far. But 29.40, it's down 85 cents right now.
First, a couple things here on the Pfizer. It looks like the institutions that were targeting the $31 level it snuck over there actually 4 days in a row. It got above there, but really couldn't get that momentum to get up to the 31.50, which was the October 2004 high. And then it just kind of hung there, had a bad day on Wednesday. And then yesterday took out this major support here at 30.50, dropped under $30 here, 29.92. That actually was the exact low on April 11th. Now you got the rebound. Now I'm a little bit, I'll use that 29.92 now. Now 30 is going to be the big resistance number. But boy, this is, to take Pfizer down, a stick. I don't want to agree with this analyst, but it's less than 100,000 shares. Yeah, that's a big move, but we'll see. Now 30 is going to be the new 31.
But these stocks started to fall out of favor 2 days ago, like we were telling you on the pre-market show yesterday morning, that there's money coming out of these drugs right now. There's money coming out of those consumer products. There's money coming out of these typically defensive stocks, and was going into a little bit more aggressive stuff, going out of the leaders, going into the laggards. We saw Microsoft, what it did yesterday. We thought it might follow through. It did again. Interesting enough, though, Microsoft, if we just go to the chart on that, actually gave back almost all its gains after being up another buck. Like, look at that run for Microsoft.
How can Microsoft move?
Is unbelievable.
That's incredible.
Incredible move for a stock as big as Microsoft. The stock typically moves 30-40 cents. It's moved 3 points here, so 4 points here basically if you take those highs, basically in 6 trading sessions. This is an incredible move from Microsoft. Obviously some profit taking here came once it had that early run in the morning. They started taking some profits, and they knocked it back down. So the stock basically closed flat. But just goes to show you, when money starts flowing into something, it can move very, very quickly, and when it flows out of something, it can move very, very quickly. We saw it quickly came out of Procter & Gamble on the disappointing earnings, and it's still flowing out of some of these more defensive names. So I think, today, it's hard to say it's going to be a 3-day move where these things happen. You know how I love my 2-day move, and that did come to fruition in a few stocks yesterday.
32.95 was the high back in March of 2012. We got to 32.84 yesterday. So I was watching this thing. I was trying to find resistance and 32.30. No, 32.40, 32.50. Yeah. So a lot of times those whole numbers do it. But what a wicked sell-off in this after it hit that level.
Yes.
Jesus, Murphy, man, they put the brakes on there.
Gave a buck back, buck up and buck down. There's some volatility for you. You don't see every day Microsoft.
I'm predicting an inside day for
you think so? Well, you could be right. I hope it doesn't start. What was the low yesterday? Because it's the number for people to keep on. 31.54?
31.54. It opened at 71, hit 54, but you would have to been quicker than what to catch that 31.50 31.54 bounce, because I mean they were opened up in a quick dip, but 31.50 should be good support now.
I'm going to agree with you on that inside day there, Joel, so look out when we're both agreeing. Still waiting for the Chevron earnings. Let's go to Starbucks, SBUX. They had earnings last night. Disappointed a bit. They came in line 48 for 48. Guidance slightly lowered, and I don't think they like that. $1.20 is where it's trading down right now. $1.20 at 59.30. What the hell is going on with that initial spike? There was nothing good in that report. It was in line. Are you serious? Did that thing really trade up over 62.50? Is that correct?
Yeah, it 62.60.
How many shares trade up there? Do you have that info in front of you too?
Yeah, I mean it traded it traded a couple 100,000 shares.
Well, the total last night, but how many do you have that volume that traded just up there?
On that bar, I have it shows me it shows 268,000 on the uptick and 350,000 on downtick.
That's got to be cumulative volume. There's no way it was trading that much. You think okay, well maybe it traded some volume. That seems like a crazy amount of volume though, because Starbucks 250,000. That's insane. So I'm not sure if that's the case or not. But regardless, here, you're moving my chart around on me.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. We're all good. Just checking it. It's 62.
Let's look at this in the context of the daily here. You do trading at 59.30. You got this little low here at 58.78. So I'd keep an eye on that. I think we did get through it in the pre-market. Let's now take a no. Exactly here. Pre-market low 58.50 coincides with the daily chart. So I still like the numbers until they take out this low. If not, definitely got some real estate here.
Yeah, you've had a run here, 5-day run.
Yeah.
We know on earnings stuff can continue to move, so we'll see what happens here in the regular session. But I did not love this report. BIDU also reported earnings last night. It looks like it's going to be your disaster stock of the day. It's down $8 right now. They reported $1 versus $1.03. They were light on the top. Number 2, 961 million versus 969 million, and it is down 8.5% right now in the pre-market. There was no algo spike up on that one. That thing was straight down on the earnings. Getting into an interesting area here, though. I know Joel's going to cite it when he goes out to the dailies, but hit a couple lows on the 7th and the 8th, 82.98 and 83.27. So we're just trading right above those lows right now.
Yeah, 83.77 was the low, and now it looks like someone's targeted this $84 level to be participating as a buyer here. You did have a low at 83.71 on April 9th, and then a low at 83.27, and going back here to March too. So that should be an area. Just going back to the reason that we mentioned these highs and lows from the pre-market sessions. Intuit just got beat up yesterday. It had a pre-market low at 55.53, and then just as the market opened, it made a 55.54 low,
wow.
And then it was off to the races.
Wow.
So, if you would have been bidding 55.53, you would have been SOL.
Let's go to the E-mini chart right now. We're going to get GDP in 5 seconds here, so we'll wait for CNBC to break that, see what happens with the E-mini. I dropped a couple of bucks here. We just dropped $3 here. I haven't actually saw the number come out here yet.
Who cares about the number?
Doesn't matter. It's obviously not that great because the SBUX just dropped 3 points, so they're beating her up a little bit here. Not too much. They seem to always be non-events. Now, I remember when we used to spike up 12 or 13 points or down 12, 13 points on GDP. But the whole problem is now, okay, well, if GDP's bad, half the time, then they say, we're going to get more stimulus then for the economy, and that'll drive the market higher. It's like, it's good, it seems like. But we're down a couple bucks here on this number, so pretty much a non-event. Moving on back to our stocks, Facebook here, Joel. We've got Facebook getting us upgraded with a strong buy at Raymond James. And on that news this morning when it broke, obviously the big spike up there. I think that broke around 7 o'clock this morning, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, stock spiking up about 50 cents here in the pre-market.
So it got up to 26.74, and the reason that Raymond James upgraded it is because they wanted to get through this 26.40 level.
They wanted to push
26.30. Yeah, look at that. 4 highs there. Kind of similar to the J.C. Penney situation. It just, it was hard getting through there 4 days in a row, closed 34 cents off it. Now that area is going to act as good support if you come back down here, if you refuse to buy these breakout or, during the regular sessions. 26.40 should be lined with bids if we come back down there. That 26.90 high, not a lot there. 27.11 and 27.20 was the highs on April 16th and 17th to get Facebook up $1 on the day.
I like this breakout, like you said, over all those highs there at the 2640 area. I think technically this sets up well. I think that becomes good support. Pulls back the 2640 area. I might try to nibble on some longs myself. This interesting breakout here. I like the overall chart too. I like the fact on the last spike down it did not make a new low on the move. Joel, you've talked about the 50% retracement before being 25. We slightly retested that on the 18th at the 25.15 low. That held. Now we've had 4 or 5 days of consolidation. Now we're getting an upgrade with a strong buy, and we're breaking out over those tops. I kind of like it.
Yeah, and if I was as good as drawing trend lines as you are. I would draw a little trend line going up here, and then you kind of, little bit of a stretch, but you kind of got a little bit of a triangle here. And now with us trading here, you're breaking out of that triangle formation.
DHI had earnings here this morning as well, 32 cents versus 19. So your home builders are popping here this morning. What a run this has had, DHI, and it's going to run right into probably this resistance area up here in the 25. Well, I guess it's trading above that old resistance area. This thing's it's trading 26 right now. Looks like it's spiked over 26.20, and the old high back from March was only 25.56. So we're above that right now here, Joel. Trying to break out on DHI. This has been an incredible 5-day run for the stock.
Yeah, someone gave him an upgrade earlier in the week. I can't remember who it was, but all the home builders were off to the races on that. I mean, you have a reference point. The only one here, 26.25. That's the high in the pre-market. Let's go a little bit longer term here. Can't find anything there in the weekly. Can't find anything in the monthly. So, can't really say buy the bottom of the page, sell the top of the page on this one because it's already up here. 26.25 is the only number I really have.
We got the Chevron numbers, 318 versus 307. So Chevron getting a drop actually here. It looks like right on the news. Well, it's 1935. It's kind of just trading only about 800,000 shares have traded since the news. So basically trading on both sides. 1935 is where the spread is, where the offer is right now. 1836 is where the bid is. So it's kind of sitting here just hanging out. Can't decide which way it obviously wants to go. If we do the technical, yesterday's high was 120 right on the kisser. So, maybe that's going to be an area where, you get in some initial resistance if this rally continues.
Right, 118 was the spike down. You really would have had to been quick to catch that. Looking at it in the context of the daily chart, little bit of red from yesterday. Well, what do you know? You had a low at 117.98 on Wednesday, so that's going to be your support. Below that, you're looking at easily at the 117 level. But as long as 118 holds, got to take out that 120. Got 121.15 and 120.90, the high on April 11th and on April 12th.
You want to talk about a setup in Netflix there, Joel. You were citing a potential area where you might get nervous if you were long this stock. Talk about it.
Yeah, it came down yesterday, closed right near that level. So you have a double bottom in place, 213.22, 213.27, getting a little bit of a boost in the pre-market. So if you want to try and get a running start into it, 217.50 has been the high. Keep an eye on that as resistance. But, this could be one of the things that, I'm not going to equate it with when Apple went through 419. But if this thing goes here, you could easily see your 209.51, which is a starting gap from there. Yeah, I mean, Dennis, if you can find support in there for me, then more power to you.
Yeah, the reason it is spiking up a little bit in the pre-market, Lazard raises their price target from 250 to 325. Wow,
Oh,
325.
wow,
So it's
that's
getting a raise at Lazard. That's why it's up a couple of bucks here in the pre-market. Joel's not in love with it as much as Lazard is, though. I think you cite a good number. Needs to hold above that 213.25 area that you're talking about. What a run, But go back to that other chart. Just talk about this all in perspective there. Wow, we obviously had the huge run up back in 2010, 2011, up to over $300, and then the ridiculous sell off where this thing got down. I believe it got under $50 at those lows, and then it's just had this ridiculous run. Basically it's quadrupled here. I mean, this is from the $50 area we were back in October, November when Icon was saying that he had a position, and this goes to show
yep.
you stocks can really turn when you get a big investor like that with a big name putting their money behind it. A lot of other people
But this
come in
doesn't usually happen, though. This is really an anomaly. I
for
mean,
Icon,
usually
yeah.
when stocks get pounded like this, I mean,
Yes.
very rarely do you see them,
Come all the way
rebound
back.
that. And yeah, I mean, they come all the way. I mean, blowing away the 50% retracement. I mean, I can't say anything. I was bearish at 160. I was bearish at
Yeah,
180. I
yeah.
was bearish at 200.
Yeah.
Now it gets over 220. But I mean, stocks trade. I mean, we'll say this maybe when the stock's trading at 500, when it's trading at like a million PE or whatever. But
do PEs matter? You got Amazon, the PE doesn't matter. Netflix, the PE doesn't matter. Apple, apparently the PE doesn't matter. It seems like people don't even look at valuation anymore. They all look at sentiment.
What is PE? What is that?
Exactly. What is PE anymore? It seems like that used to be the way you valued companies, and now it's all market sentiment, it's all movement, it's all momentum. It's tricky, when the tide turns, it turns and it stays turned for a long time. And Netflix is in favor right now, and I don't know when it's going to get out of favor from a valuation perspective. I've said it a lot of times. I don't think it makes sense, but you can't fight this tape, and the tape says higher. So I guess Lazard thinks so too.
You know when it will tank? When I get long.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's always what happens too. Oh, so what's your thoughts on the market here today, Joel? We're down 6 points here. Obviously, looking a little bit weak, a little bit of a pullback. Are they just going to come in and buy this market again?
Oh, don't they always do that?
Know.
I think just from a daily perspective here, I mean, you really have to respect the double bottom here. These both happened in the day session here. So if you happen to catch a short, anywhere in the past day or two, coming down, that will be the level to keep an eye on that. I don't see what right now it's going to take us through that level, 1570, 75. But if in fact they do, there is a lot of air under it. Coming back up, you have the close at 81.75 and 82.50 was the high of the overnight session. That's been not sure if that's the highest close. No, we've had an 87.75 close. It's been the highest close of the move. So I'm just looking for perhaps a trade in a range today here and find good resistance at the close.
That's our show for today, guys. Have a great trading day. Have a great weekend. Back with you on Monday.